Get me that signal. We need more power.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming to my realm for this meeting. Snow, could you please keep your monkey quiet? Where did you find a monkey anyway? And, Mr. Nutcracker, could you please refrain from your favorite hobby until this meeting is concluded? Thank you. I, Robin Hood, have asked you all here because we face a grave peril. The Lords of Darkness have joined together and plan to attack all our realms at the same time.
No.
It can't be
Who
true.
ate all the pizza?
Settle down. Yes, it is true. We traded the information with the sheriff in exchange for the return of his bridges. No, I said bridges. Anyhow, we're going to need to send out teams to each of the realms, and when the invaders begin to appear, we will swarm over them and drive them out. We're calling this operation 12 Realms, and it will need to be based on cooperation. We want no heroes here. That means no dragons for you, Siegfried.
But I have the strength of 12 men.
You have the smell of 12 men too, but I don't think that will help us. Stick to the plan, and we will save the realms. I remember the methods the Lords of Darkness used back when they were merely the Dukes of Darkness, and so I believe this will work. Here is how we'll do it. Let's take a look at 12 Realms from Mage Company. It's a beautiful game. As you can see, let's take a little closer look at this particular realm. There's 4 realms that come with the base game. You also have a ton of cards, characters, Dark Lords, tokens, gold, glorious gold. A ton of tokens out there. Here is the card for Red Riding Hood. Each card is double-sided. On one side they just have these talents, and on the other side they have less talents, but they get this special power. As you can see, there's a lot of iconography involved, which is listed in the rules. Sometimes you gotta find them. Here is iconography for the different invaders that can appear, and here's some more information. Here is what the special symbols mean on each character. For example, Red Riding Hood's special ability right here is exploit 2 charm talents to draw 1 town card for free. And hers is a gold talent, which means she can use it once per game. There are some red talents that you can use once per turn. The object of the game is to defeat all of the Dark Lords that are invading each of the realms. There's 2 Dark Lords for each realm that come with the base game. You select one for however many realms you're using. And the game is very flexible. It allows you to play with 1, 2, 3, 4, however many of the realms that you want to, and this can change the difficulty level of the game. There's lots of other ways to change the difficulty level as well. And there's little things that you can add into the game to make it easier or harder. You have to kind of find your balance on what you want to play, or depending on the type of group that you're playing with. If you're playing with just some kids, they will really enjoy this game, especially on the easy level, I believe, because it's a very simple game to play. What happens is, after you set up the boards and you've got your Dark Lords selected, and over here you have piles of minions that all of the Dark Lords have, and they will make their appearances. You also have, each realm has 3 artifact tokens and 3 treasure tokens. In order to face a Dark Lord, you have to have the 3 artifact pieces for that realm in order to go fight against the Dark Lord. And everything you face has certain talents that you use against it in order to defeat it. For example, Jack Rackham, you have to exploit these 4 tokens. Okay, and he also has a special power, which is the -3 which if we look on the back of the book, a -3 means it's a curse. The rules explanation under Invader Powers. And actually some of the Invader Powers are pretty cool. Curse takes effect during the Resolve Power step. Each player on the same board as an Invader with this power must exploit a randomly selected talent for each level of the Curse power. So you also get these 2 dice. This one is for randomly selected talents, and this one is for randomly selected areas. Each board is marked with areas from 1 to 6, and they also have a special town area where you can go there and you can, using a swiftness token, you can buy a couple of town cards and then select one to keep, and this helps improve you during the game. Each and every one of the town cards has an explanation of what it does right in the book. Every town card is listed explaining all of the different iconography on them and what they can help you to do. You have this huge deck of 12 Realms cards. This little deck here is the Dark player's deck of event cards that he can use if you're playing with the Dark player, who's basically takes over for the Dark Lords and puts all the invaders on the board and actually handles a lot of the management of the game. The miniatures are pretty awesome. I wish I knew how to paint. There's one of them. Oh, here, here's a little Snow White. Isn't that cool? Little bunny. I like little bunnies. There's also the Dark Fortresses, which is another variant to bump up your difficulty if you'd like. When you start, you each place your character in the town on whatever board you want. You're usually going to start on different boards, but you don't have to. The marker starts on space 0 on each board. This is the invasion track marker. What happens is, once you get to 16, the Dark Lord comes out. And how do you get up to 16? Well, these invader tokens come out, and at the beginning of the turn, every invader token that is on the board that you haven't dispatched during the previous turn adds 1 to this invasion track. And when it gets up to 16, pow, the Dark Lord appears. When it gets to 20, everybody loses. So you have to work together to get over there and either take out the invaders, or when the Dark Lord does appear, you got to get him out of there. They're generally tougher to beat. Definitely. After you've placed all your dudes, you draw enough cards. You draw 2 cards per player plus 1. So with 4 players, you're actually drawing 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you flip each one by one and do what it says. Here is a Dark Unicorn. He's green, so you look over here for your Dark Unicorn icon token. There he is. And then you roll the die to see where to place him in his realm. He's green, he goes in realm 5. Oh, there he is. Next card. The Gold Cup. That is a treasure. It's also in the green realm. Where's that going to go? In realm 6. And you continue, you do that for all 9 of the cards. If you happen to, like, pull an artifact card, but all the artifacts are already out, then you just skip that card and pull another one. Okay, you don't skip it completely. You draw another card and continue, so you could end up with more invaders coming out. During your turn, you're going to use your talents in the different actions that you can do. There is a listing of all of the actions and their symbols in the book. For example, you can claim a treasure if you're in the same area. You can claim an artifact if you're in the same area. You can trade with a player artifact tokens and gold if you are in the same area. You can visit the town and use that to buy town cards. You can travel between realms, but that does end your turn. And you can attack an invader. You can also confront a Dark Lord as well. So, for example, over here, we're going to move, that is D'Artagnan. So D'Artagnan is going to use a swiftness token. The red tokens are reusable each turn. So you use one, just move it over to the other side of your card, and then you can move into that area. In order to defeat this unicorn, it's going to take either 2 swords or a book and a star. They have specific names, I don't remember. Well, he does have 2 swords, so he is going to exploit those 2 talents, and that will defeat that invader. He's gone, that threat is gone. Now he can use another swiftness token to move over here to the treasure. But he can't pick it up, because in order to pick up this treasure, it's going to require a star, and he doesn't have any stars left. Just like that, the artifact tokens also have things on them that you need to use, and you need a gold coin in order to pick up this specific artifact. And each one is different. To pick up this treasure, you would have to exploit this sword token. Once you've gone through all the icons that you can or want to use, that's the end of your turn. It goes to the next player. Everybody takes their turns trying to defeat invaders. That's how the game is played. When the Dark Lord shows up, they each have their own token. You roll to see where he goes, and then you hope that you've got the artifacts, because it's going to move. It's going to start moving. And if he gets you, well, then you lose the game. Or basically you lose the game whenever it gets to 20. In reality, it's not really that tough to beat. You can change the difficulty, but it's great to play with the kids because it's not that difficult. There's no player elimination, so you don't have to worry about getting killed, and you're not really killing the invaders. You're driving them out. That's what you're doing. So that is just a basic overview of 12 Realms from Mage Company.
What you have here is a beautiful game with top-notch quality and components. There were initial complaints about the rulebook and the iconography used, and these problems have been addressed by Mage Company. The rulebook tells you all of the iconography, of which there is a great deal, so you will need to refer to it a lot until you gain familiarity with all the icons. I didn't find this as difficult as Race for the Galaxy was for me initially, but it did take some getting used to. Again, the rulebook has the icons on the back cover, with additional ones scattered throughout the rules. The game has multiple difficulty levels. In fact, it has one of the most customizable difficulty settings in any game I've played. You can make it as hard or as easy as you wish, and there's an extra rule sheet describing how to go about this. In playing the game, I found that it actually takes playing a few games to find the difficulty level appropriate for the group you're playing with. Many times it is too easy, and then you tweak it just a bit and suddenly it's way too difficult. Finding the right balance takes some time, and not everyone is willing to put that kind of time into a game before it is fun. The rules allow you to play up to 4 players, with a 5th player that can be added as the dark player, who actively works against the other players. While having the dark player is an interesting variant, the person playing the dark player doesn't do much, aside from handling the placement of tokens and invoking random events that are generally bad for the players each round. So the dark player is more of a moderator than an evil force. For families, and especially kids, this is a wonderful game. The rules are easy for them to learn if you have the parents there to remind them what the icons mean. The easy level game is really easy to play. It is a thematically beautiful game with outstanding miniatures, and it can be fun for the whole family. However, the game does have its problems. Once you are playing the game, it feels a bit mechanical. There's not a lot in the way of random chance. The players can get overpowered easily with the many available buffs, and each turn becomes a matter of moving, spending tokens, and then repeat. You can alleviate this a bit by remembering to help each other when you can't defeat a particular invader. Don't stay confined as a protector of a single realm. Travel from realm to realm helping each other, and you can keep on top of the encroaching invaders. This makes the game feel less mechanical because you're actively cooperating to stop the invading forces. Which leads to the other problem. The Dark Lord only appears in a realm when the invasion track reaches 16 in that realm, and it only advances when there are invaders present in that realm. Once you have improved yourself enough, the invaders aren't too difficult to defeat, and you can keep the Dark Lord basically from appearing forever, which means the game never ends. Eventually, you'll need to let the invaders build up so that the Dark Lord appears and you can defeat him, which makes no sense thematically, or to the kids you're trying to teach the game to. That's why I'll sometimes use one additional realm board than the number of players when I play, so that each realm has a bit more time to accumulate some invaders without breaking the theme. Another way that works well is to advance the invasion track on each board by 1 space automatically each turn, and then more for the number of invaders. In this way, you're guaranteed to face all of the Dark Lords eventually, and it doesn't break the theme because it can represent the Dark Lords gathering their power. I got that idea off of Board Game Geek, so thanks to whoever first put it out there. For me, it was hard to take it as anything more than a light-hearted game to play with the kids, because of the lack of randomness in each game. Each character has certain talents, and you spend these to defeat invaders and gather artifacts and treasures, and it gets monotonous after a while. There's no real theme there at all. Sure, it's beautiful, but I sometimes feel like I'm just pushing tokens around on a board. Personally, I think that if each character had their own character-specific talent dice pool, rather than these tokens to spend, it would make it a lot more fun and add some much-needed randomness to it. But do not think that I'm completely breaking bad on this game. The Mage Company has responded to players' concerns in their expansion called Ancestors' Legacy. The expansion adds 4 new realms along with characters, Dark Lords, and all of the required cards and tokens, and also adds 1 additional element to the game which bumps it up into an experience that I can happily enjoy playing with my family and my gamer friends. They have added plots. Plots are a thematic addition to the game that takes it to the next level. Instead of simply moving around defeating invaders and facing down the Lords of Darkness, the plots add a specific problem to the game which must be overcome in order for the players to win. It's basically a set of independent scenarios that come with their own set of tokens, cards, and sometimes miniatures. For example, in the Squirrel Raiders scenario, the Snow Queen has created some killer squirrels throughout the realms. You must go to each realm and lead these squirrels back to their home nests, where presumably the spell is broken and they become regular squirrels again. You can only win if all of the squirrels are returned home. Meanwhile, the invaders and Dark Lords are still up to their old mischief in the realms as well. The Double Challenge scenario causes a Dark Lord to appear when the invasion track reaches 7, and then again at 16. There are other specific rules for the scenario, but the increase in difficulty is a welcome addition. There's a plot with ninjas, there's one featuring a beautiful Pantheon miniature, and even one with an Egyptian pyramid. They're all quite different, and they really take 12 Realms gaming experience up to new heights. The next expansion will be called Bedtime Story, and will feature additional scenarios. If it is anything like Ancestors' Legacy, then it should be quite a story indeed. Thank you for joining me in this review of 12 Realms from Mage Company. Let me know if you found this review helpful by leaving a comment or sending me an email at elliot_miller@voiceofe.com. Make sure to subscribe to the Voice of E channel on YouTube, as I'll have a lot more thematic game reviews and some board game giveaways, and you won't want to miss any of those, would you? Please tell your friends to check out the Voice of E, and hopefully they will subscribe too. Thanks again, and until next time, keep your mind free.
Get me that signal. We need more power.